governor by choice. So maybe some of you might really get excited and want to come live here, and it's exactly like this in July, okay? Just remember that. So if you have any questions or concerns about your weekend, please feel free to ask me or anyone else on the committee. I had intended us to have some name tags. I asked my husband to buy some, and we never put them on. So if you need some help, you just see someone who you don't know, which they're from somewhere else, they'll tell you they don't know either, but eventually you'll find one of us. So without further ado, let me introduce Connie Apollodemus, who worked so very hard on this evening for you, not only for the lovely dinner, but also for some really, really fun Southern things to do. So, Connie.
Thank you, Stephanie. On behalf of the Orthodox committee, I would echo what Stephanie said in welcoming you. I hope everybody is enjoying the meal tonight. Further,
You gotta step, you gotta put it close to your face.
yes.
Step over.
Excuse me, I'm a novice. Okay.
Now you got it.
All right. Okay. I hope everybody is enjoying the meal tonight. It was prepared by one of our Memphis's most popular catfish restaurants in town, called the Soulfish Cafe. And we wanted you to experience Southern hospitality, Memphis style. And in Memphis, that means not only good food, but the special Memphis sound, like Delta Blues, and of course Elvis. In keeping with this theme, let me introduce our entertainment for this evening. Our very own Annunciation parishioners, Sterling Owen III and IV. Sterling Owen III, let me tell you a little bit about him. Began playing publicly during the 70s. He started out playing the guitar and banjo in small groups that played folk and bluegrass music. Later, he spent many years in a band that played country music and 50s rock. He has always played some blues, but this is his first project to specialize in that genre. Sterling Owen IV got his start playing in his father's country band. During the 80s, he played drums in everything from country to punk rock to blues rock. He found, however, that he really loved the blues harmonica. He played with his brother, an acoustic duo, for Brian, for several years during the 90s, and then this is his first project since. As you can see, they are very talented musicians, and they have prepared a short program of Delta music blues interspersed with commentary on its origins. So thank you all for being here, and on with the show.
Hey everybody, Dad and I are really pleased to be here with you.
Please feel free if you want some more food.
It has been a while since we've played out, so this gives us an excuse to get back going. I would say we don't particularly consider ourselves so much Delta bluesmen as we consider ourselves musicians who have a great deal of respect for the music that was indigenous to the land that we came from. We both grew up on a farm in the Mississippi Delta, right in the middle of the culture that the blues grew out of, and as musicians we picked that up. The first song that we're going to do was actually recorded in Chicago, but the harmonica player was one of the great ones ever. He came from Horn Lake, Mississippi, and spent most of his life in Memphis. He initially played with things like the Memphis Jug Band during the 20s when he was like 10 years old. He first recorded. Walter Horton is his name. He recorded for Sam Phillips' Sun Studios and recorded with a lot of great Chicago musicians as well. The particular song we're going to do was recorded by a musician named Jimmy Rogers, and actually there's a story that Walter Horton wouldn't have gotten to do the harmonica solo on it, and the playing, if somebody else hadn't missed the gig. So he got to step in at the last minute and he did some playing that was legendary. I don't hope to meet the legendary part, but we'll give the song a shot. Ready? 2, 3. Walking by myself, I hope you'll understand. I just want to be a loving man. Love you, yes, I love you, all my heart and soul. Wouldn't mistreat you, baby, for my weight in gold. You know I love you, you know it's true. Give you all of my loving. What more can I do? Walking by myself, I hope you'll understand. Well, I just want to be a loving man. You know I love you, you know it's true. Give you all of my loving. What more can I do? Walking by myself, I hope you'll understand. I just want to be a loving man. I just want to be a loving man. Our next tune by a guy named Little Walter, actually from Louisiana, but most of his career he spent with bluesmen from Mississippi and the general Delta region. In particular, Muddy Waters, who we'll get to in a few minutes. But I just kind of wanted to get in some Little Walter, maybe the greatest harmonica player who ever lived, and one of my heroes. Ready? Woman, do you ever think of me? You know I'm in love with you, darling, but you don't care nothing in the world for me. Well, I can't sleep at night, I just I can't hold on much longer, Lord, living this way. You know I'm just crazy about you, babe. Woman, do you ever think of me? You know I'm in love with you, darling, but you don't care nothing in this world for me. everything to me. You know I'm in love with you, darling, but you don't count nothing in this world for me. The next tune was by a guy actually from Jackson, Tennessee. A little bit different direction than you expect the blues to come from, for the most part. But one of the very greats, and Sonny Boy Williamson. There are actually two Sonny Boy Williamsons. Probably the most well-known, recorded mostly during the 50s, and lived a lot of his life in Helena, Arkansas. But his name was Rice Miller. He claimed to be the original Sonny Boy, and yet, back during the 30s, there'd been a really big star named Sonny Boy Williamson, whose name was John Lee Williamson. So, it sounds kind of like the second one did a little bit of fudging. But the first one was probably the first really great modern harmonica player. There'd been cool stuff that jug bands and kind of old-time guys did, but Sonny Boy Williamson, the first really great one. Ready? Well, the gal, she was sweet 16. Her mother didn't want this son to her dream. I know she was a dreamer. She dreamed of old Southern dream. She was the dreamingest girl I've ever seen. She know about loving, kissing on down, dreamingest girl for miles around. I know she was a dreamer. She dreamed of old Southern dream. She was the dreamingest girl I've ever seen. She dreamed that I was holding close to my breast. She told that much of the dream, but she wouldn't tell the rest. I know she was a dreamer. She dreamed of old Southern dream. She was the dreamingest girl I've ever seen. I was hungry down by the mill. She dreamed that she had took me from the gal on the hill. I know she was a dreamer. She dreamed of old Southern dream. She was the dreamingest girl I've ever seen. She knowed about loving, kissing on down, dreamingest girl for miles around. I know she was a dreamer. She dreamed of old Southern dream. She was the dreamingest girl I've ever seen. The next tune by one of the really great figures, Mississippi and associated with Chicago as well, revolutionized blues up there, was born in Rolling Fork, Mississippi, lived a lot of his life in Mississippi in the Clarksdale area, maybe an hour and a half down the road, on a Stovall plantation. And one of my favorite stories about it, Muddy Waters. But he was actually doing pretty well by Delta standards. He had a juke joint with all the amenities, and was doing okay. And somebody asked him later, you know, you didn't have it so bad. Why did you move to Chicago? He said, I wanted to be a great man. And you know, that spirit that wouldn't stop until he was is something that I really admire. Muddy Waters, Jude. Once had a good little girl. I lose my baby boy, this ain't that bad. Once had a good little girl. I lose my baby boy, this ain't that sad. You can't spend what you ain't got. You can't lose what you ain't never had. Had some money in the bank. I got busted, people ain't that bad. Had some money in the bank. I got busted, people ain't that sad. Now you can't spend what you ain't got. You can't lose what you ain't never had. Had my own little home. It got burnt down, people ain't that bad. Yes, my own little farm. It got burnt down, people ain't that sad. You can't spend what you ain't got. You can't lose what you ain't never had. Next tune, another guy born in Mississippi, but most of his career was in Chicago. Elmore James is his name, and was kind of the king of the electric slide guitar. We do it a little bit different. The song It Hurts Me Too. I replaced the slide guitar with a harmonica part. Hope you'll enjoy it.
Yeah.
You said you were hurting, say you almost lost your mind. Now the man you love hurts you all the time. When things go wrong with you, it hurts me too. You love him more when you should love him less. Why pick up behind him and take his mess? All when things go wrong with you, it hurts me too. Yes, and you better put him down, 'cause I won't stand to see you pushed around. Oh, when things go wrong with you, it hurts me too. And for our last tune, thought we'd do something a little bit different. W.C. Handy was actually born in Alabama, but he spent a lot of his career in Memphis and playing throughout the Delta. He's called the father of the blues, but it would really be incorrect to call him a bluesman. The first time he heard somebody play anything that would be called the blues, he thought it was the strangest music he had ever heard. He led orchestras and was a very proficient composer. What he did was take what he was seeing being very popular. He wasn't stupid. People loved the blues, and he took it and made it into something more sophisticated, something that his brass bands could play. So he was kind of the predecessor of the blues as we find it in jazz. Is there anybody here from St. Louis? The most famous song is St. Louis Blues. That's what we're going to do. It was almost just shy of being 100 years ago. It was written in 1914. today, feeling tomorrow like I feel today. I'm gonna pack my bags, make my getaway. St. Louis woman wears a diamond ring. Oh, she leaves men around by her apron string. If it wasn't for that powder and that snowball hair, all that woman of mine wouldn't have gone nowhere, nowhere. Got the St. Louis blues, I'm as blue as I can be. All my gals got a heart like a rocket in the sea. Well, I'd have been alright, she hadn't gone so far from me.
Sterling and Sterling, we thank you. If you have not been to Beale Street, this is what you'd be hearing down there in some of the clubs. And so if you don't have a chance to go down there, you have just heard some authentic blues and Southern history, so we're just blessed to have them here. And if you don't know in the South, if you haven't lived here even just for a minute, and the minute in the South can be 30 seconds or 30 years, but you learn how to say you're blessed, because we are blessed. Let's see. On your tables you have some moon pies, and moon pies used to not be shipped in the summertime because they have to be kept cool. So people who lived up north couldn't get moon pies in the summertime, and I don't know if you can get them up north anymore. In the summertime, I would guess, because we have refrigerated trucks. So if you don't eat them here, you can always take them with you and eat them tonight or tomorrow or on the plane or whatever. Next on the agenda, first of all, just to give you a little update, the hierarchs have, they will be joining us again tomorrow, but the Archbishop came in and safely landed, and so they'll be seeing us tomorrow, bright and early. But now we have some icebreaker things to do. Eva Kokinos, who is the Youth and Young Adult Director of the Metropolis of Detroit and our Metropolis Chairperson for this fun weekend, will be working on the icebreaker. So, Eva.
Hello everyone, Christ is risen. So I'm very excited to see all of you here. As Stephanie said, the Director of Youth and Young Ministries for our Metropolis. So I have the distinct privilege of getting to hang out with kids all the time. Not that adults are horrible, but kids, you know how adults can be. So anyway, what I'm going to do is we're going to go through just a very simple icebreaker, and it's going to be for our speakers. So all speakers, if you could all come up here for just a moment. We're going to make you work off the moon pie. Or moon pies if you make more than one. I was tempted. I believe all of the speakers are here, right? Everybody made it in tonight? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Oh, you can come on both sides. That's fine. Come over here. Okay. Also, I think we have some Memphis teens here too. If they would like to participate in this icebreaker, you are more than welcome to do so. Any teens? No? Bueller? See, older people laugh at that. I realize I'm old when kids don't laugh at that anymore. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. The first part of this icebreaker is really for you all to get to know each other. So you're each gonna get one of these cards, but don't look at the back, okay? Not that the secret to life is behind them, but just don't look at them yet. And then I will give you some instruction. And then afterward, we're gonna do a little Miss America style introductions as well. So I'll tell you a little bit about that later. Oh, do we have some, we have some Memphis kids. Yay, for Memphis! So that means, we're Memphis. Okay, okay, I think that's, okay, good. So that means that we have 18 plus 4 is 22, right? I'm a theologian.
Do things a little slower in the South.
I always had to check my math. I went to theology, school, not math school. Okay, so that means, ladies and gentlemen, that if you can, try the best you can to go through and meet every other person. So if there are 22 of you, you need to speak to 21 other people. Okie dokie? Okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to take one of these, find little pieces of paper, and you're going to have it, and then you're going to find someone to speak to. And then you're going to lift it up, and you're going to read this question to that person, and they're going to answer it, and then vice versa. So, if you have a card and I have a card, I'm going to ask you this question, and then you're going to ask me a question. Before you do that, say your name, what city you're from, maybe what grade in high school or junior high you're in. Okay? So name, where you're from, how old you are, question. Then you're going to swap cards. This is a lot of directions, but you're very bright. Swap cards, find somebody new to talk to. Got it? So, name, where you're from, how old you are, ask the question, swap cards, find someone else to talk to. Got it? Fabulous. Come and get a card.